Motor Speedway. And of course, Atlanta Motor Speedway is a newly reconfigured 1.54 mile quad oval with 24 degrees of bankings in the turns, 5 degrees on the straightaway, a front stretch of 2,332 feet, and a back straightaway of 1,800 feet. So very tight, conducive to very tight racing, Darrell. As we're going to have about 125,000 of our closest friends here tonight to watch the FTSRL league run here tonight in these truck series at the Atlanta Motor Speedway in Hampton, Georgia.
They always come in droves when OLR TV hits the air. Tonight, we are not inside the OLR TV dome. We left the dome at home. There's a little tear in the top of the roof, and we didn't want to have it get any worse. As a result, we've got somewhat realistic weather. You'll see weather in between mid-50s, mid-60s, and winds from the east between 5 and 15 miles per hour. That's the weather forecast for tonight. Clear skies, though, Michael. Not a lot of clouds overhead, but these lower temperatures should create a lot of horsepower in these trucks.
That's exactly right, Darrell. The cooler the temperatures, the faster the speeds, the better the racing, as we like to see. And that's exactly what you'll see. You'll see a lot of guys really throwing it to it down in the corners because the tracks, the grip will be so great here with the cooler temperatures.
These drivers are just coming off from the Iowa 125 back 1 week ago on May 22nd. Your top 10 in that race, Michael Alaband in the Winfuel Dodge took home the win after starting in 4th place. Brody Hanna wound up in 2nd position with the Gladiator Garage Works Chevrolet. The Miller Welders Dodge of Travis Morton came home 3rd, followed by John Adams. Dan Richter was in 5th spot. Michael Blackner in 6th. 7th was Brian Macklin. 8th went to Brian Bliss. 9th went to T.J. Bartell. And rounding out the top 10, the Dentine Fire Dodge of J.R. Evans. Those finishes sort of mixed up the points a little bit, a couple of positions changing in the top 10, Michael.
Well, that's exactly right, Darrell, but one thing that didn't change with your points leader is Brody Hanna extended his lead with that strong run at Iowa. He's now got a 199-point lead over 2nd place John Adams. Travis Morton, Michael Blackner round out your top 4. T.J. Bartell, the big mover in the top 10, he moved up 2 spots to the 5th spot, Darrell. Philip Stocks, Jared Carr, the big loser in the top 10, he dropped 2 spots back to 7th. T.J. Henry, Michael Alaband, and Brian Bliss round out your top 10 in points, Darrell. And this points battle not shaping up to be very tight, as Brody Hanna is really putting the field down as he's got a 766-point lead over the top 10, a 199-point lead over 2nd.
They still do have plenty of time. They still have plenty of time in the season. However, it's going to be difficult to catch up to Brody Hanna, your current points leader. Brody Hanna just so dependable and so consistent on the season. Lots of top 10s, lots of top 5s. In fact, has yet to finish outside of the top 10. Want to let you know that tonight's race is being brought to you by Spiral Studios. Want to thank Spiral Studios for their sponsorship of this event. Also brought to you by GoDaddy.com, one of your finest online registrars for your .com name, and actually now offering full web services as well. That's at GoDaddy.com. Also brought to you by Full Throttle Sim Racing. You can check them out at FullThrottleSimRacing.net. That's FullThrottleSimRacing.net. Also brought to you by OLR, OnlineRacing.com, where they remind you, don't dream it, live it. OnlineRacing.com, the home of the 2008 OLR LAN event. Give you information about that in just a little bit. Also brought to you by High Speed Radio at HighSpeedRadio.com, the official coverage of every, most we should say, OLR TV broadcasts will be simulcasted audio only over at HighSpeedRadio.com. High Speed Radio, because life is too short to slow down, the official online radio station of OLR TV. Also want to remind some of our viewers out there of what's coming up down the road here at OLR TV. Still have plenty of racing action coming up in the next week and a half to 2 weeks. As a matter of fact, coming up this Monday, the Sim Factory DMP Pro Series returns to OLR TV. And if you missed race number 1 from Pocono, you missed one of the greatest races we have ever seen. Not just from Pocono, from anywhere. What a phenomenal race that Pro Series put on. They'll be back on Monday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And the next night, Tuesday the 3rd, the Butt Kicker Sportsman Series for DMP is back in action. This one will once again be from Iowa. Then on Tuesday, the 10th of June, we'll start June off with 3 consecutive DMP broadcasts. Once again, the Butt Kicker Sportsman Series in action, this time from Nashville, also a 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time start. And then Tuesday, the next Tuesday, the 17th, we will have the Royal LePage 160 for the OpenSpeedway.net TNT Truck Series. That starts at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, those races, 3 of them will be taking place with ARCA Sim Racing 2008. The last race we told you about, the TNT Truck Race, that'll be once again back with the Truck Series here in NASCAR 2003. Still, in a lot of people's minds, one of the greatest pieces of software out there on the market today. If you're interested in getting your hands on the on ARCA Sim Racing 2008, have no fear. Go to arcasimracing.com or thesimfactory.com. You can order it right there on the web. Yes, the patch is out. Yes, the patch is good. Other news, and we are the first ones to tell you about it officially. You'll hear the first official permitted words here on OLR TV about iRacing. iRacing is in the closing stages of beta testing. I myself was a beta tester. Guess technically still am a beta tester. I have been released from my non-disclosure agreement as of noon today. This is the first place I have spoken openly about iRacing, and I'll tell you right now, for those of us that are looking for something completely new and revolutionary, iRacing has it. The feel is very, very familiar. You know who's developing this. The same folks, a lot of the same folks that develop the software that you're looking at right now. However, it's a completely new and revolutionary way to look at sim racing. This is not sim racing as usual. This is a reinvention, if you will, Michael, of sim racing. I know you haven't seen the software yet. You haven't been able to get your hands on it. I'll tell you, it's very easy to use. It's extremely simple to use. The file sizes aren't monstrous. A couple of questions that I've been asked: is there a single-player mode? No, there is not a single-player mode. You can go out there and practice. There is no AI, and there are no plans, to the best of my knowledge, to add AI. There's a matchmaking program that comes with it, so you can race against people of your skill level. There's a lot of stuff that goes into what iRacing is doing, and I think one of the neatest things that iRacing is doing is they're letting you pick and choose the add-ons that you want to pick up. They are a separate purchase. They're letting you pick and choose the tracks that you want to pick up. They are a separate purchase. Now, if I can throw one thing out there in the rumor mill, right now, as far as oval racing goes, I can think of 3, perhaps 4 cars that are suitable to oval racing. You got the Legends cars, 2 classes of Legends cars. By the way, that's one of the default cars that comes with the software. You also have late models, and you have the SK modifieds. Why am I mentioning this? Because when you purchase, say, for example, Daytona or Lowe's or Atlanta, which are all available as add-on tracks to the software, the big oval comes with them. I don't know if you ever tried to drive a late model at Daytona International Super Speedway or Daytona Speedway, but it doesn't work out too well. The SK modifieds, no way. They're not going to race the modifieds there. In the Legends cars, forget it. You're not going to put a Legends car on a 2.5-mile oval. Why are those tracks put in there? Well, Michael, the answer might very well be that the exclusive deal between EA and NASCAR is set to expire very, very soon. Could iRacing potentially be planning for the future?
Oh, I'd say you're exactly right, Daryl. As reinventful as they have become, iRacing more than likely is planning for the future, and that's exactly how this simulation software lasted as long as it did, because when it was invented, it did plan for the future, and as you see, the future is still now because people are dying to get their hands still on NASCAR 2003, along with the other software that's coming out.
Yeah, and this is one of the hottest titles that you are going to find, whether you look for it on eBay or Amazon. There was a point in time that you couldn't get your hands on it for less than $115, I think, was the lowest price I saw at one point. It's come down a little bit with the release of ARCA Sim Racing 2008, but it's coming back up a little bit more as well. If you don't have a copy of NASCAR 2003, you're going to want to run out there, get yourself a copy of NASCAR 2003, get involved in the sim racing revolution. And then when it comes time for the iRacing revolution, I'm not even going to call it sim racing as we know it, because it's not sim racing as you know it today. Sim racing as you know it today is not what iRacing is all about. iRacing is building a community based around a piece of software that is, in my estimation, Michael, absolutely fantastic. Those of us that have enjoyed NASCAR 2003 for so long will feel right at home with the revamped iRacing software for 2008. We are going to feel very at home with the software, with the way things are. It's very intuitive, and the other nice thing is you launch it right from Internet Explorer, which makes it really, really convenient. All of your downloads, your add-ons, right there in Internet Explorer. The iRacing software is absolutely fantastic. Everything I've seen from it tells me there's a huge upside to iRacing. Absolutely huge upside. We'll have to wait and see what the community receives when this software comes out, how the community receives the software. We know that, yes, iRacing was once known as First, and a lot of the community has really, in my opinion, incorrectly laid some poor estimations down on First, some poor assumptions on First or iRacing. We've gone over that a million times here on OLR TV, also over at High Speed Radio, and at our unofficial sister station, RLM TV and RLMTV.com, who, by the way, are back on the air Saturday night with the World Online Racing League at 9:30 at RLM TV. I honestly believe if the sim racers out there give iRacing an honest chance, and that's all the guys from iRacing are asking for is an honest chance, I honestly believe if they give iRacing an honest chance, they're going to fall in love with the software. I know I have.
Well, Darryl, it's just like, if you'll remember, when this software came out, nobody, everybody was down on it, and now look at it, it's still long outlived its life expectancy. So that's exactly what it is. If as long as they get the chance, that's the main thing. And usually when somebody gives something a chance, it works out for the best.
Well, when this came out, people went, why do we need to go away from NASCAR 2002? It's fantastic. When 2002 came out, they went, wait, what's wrong with NASCAR 4? And then when 4 came out, they said, what's wrong with NASCAR 3? It's a never-ending cycle. Sim racers on the surface initially don't like change, but we've also been waiting and dying for a great piece of software to come out, and this may be one of them. I think we're going to have two great pieces of software out there with ARCA Sim Racing 2008 and iRacing very soon to be released. Your starting lineup here tonight, as you can see on your screen, starting on the pole, the number 62 machine of Brody Hanna, the Gladiator Garage Works Chevrolet, with a time of 30.451. And outside of Hanna, the number 6 of James Gutta out of Castleton, New York, in the Valvoline Ford. James clocks in with a time of 30.462.
Inside of row 2, the 46, that's P.J. Bartell. And outside of row 2, the 52 of Garland Meadows.
Inside of row number 3, the 04 machine of Michael Carter in the Summit Racing sponsored entry. And outside row 3, oddly enough, the number 3 machine, the Goodwright Chevrolet, racing for Fury Motorsports, the 38-year-old rookie as far as sim racing is concerned, or at least as far as full throttle sim racing is concerned, the number 3 of Philip Stocks.
Inside of row 4, Darryl, that's the 11 of John Adams. No, not the president, the racer, John Adams. And outside of row for the 20 of Michael Alabon.
Brian Bliss in the Dollar General Chevrolet will be inside of row number 5 and outside row 5. In the number 12 machine, we'll double check here. Yes, in the number 12 machine, it's Travis Morton out of Cooperstown, New York. Yes, that Cooperstown in the Miller Welders sponsored Dodge. Morton clocks in with a 30.707 to round out your top 10. You just got to see all the times for your top 10 right there on the screen. You can see how close they are.
Inside of row 6 will be the 4 of John Evans. And outside of row 6, that's the 88. That's Mr. Tom Price from Georgetown, Indiana.
Darrell Kinsey Jr. out of Bowie, Maryland will start inside of row number 7 and outside row number 7. The number 77 of Ellenberg, but it's Brent Ellenberg in the Bass Pro Shops Ford for Team Hyperspeed, the 3-year veteran, 23-year-old Brent Ellenberg.
Inside of row 8 will be the 71 Hewlett-Packard Toyota. That's Alan Edwards. Or excuse me, Adam Edwards. And outside of row 8 will be the 9. That is Sean Boehm.
Several drivers will start from the back. The 100 of Rob Hayden Jr. out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And the Bad Bug Motorsports Dodge will come from the back, along with the number 40 machine. That is Dan Richter in the Mastodon-sponsored Ford for Mastodon Racing. Also coming from the back will be James Wallace out of Charleston, South Carolina in the Totes Isotoner Dodge, along with the number 14 machine of Bob Coe III. Coe III, by the way, also out of Cooperstown, New York, the home of the Baseball Hall of Fame. And coming way from the back, I should say, the number 87 of Michael Blackner. Blackner will be pulling for the PA Posse. He's from Johnstown, Pennsylvania, in the Coca-Cola-sponsored Ford for JB2 Motorsports. Blackner, by the way, the second youngest driver registered to race here tonight, the third youngest driver, we should say, registered to race here tonight. He is 15 years of age. The youngest in the race is the number 9 of Boehm. He is 14. Let's go trackside for the command.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
The motors are fired and the truck's rolling off from pit road. As Michael, tonight we have 2 drivers that can't legally get a license, a driver's license or a NASCAR license. You must be 16 to get a NASCAR license. We have 2 drivers under the age of 16 here tonight. Sean Boehm at 14 years of age and Michael Blackner at 15 years of age. The youngest driver registered with this group is Joe Allen out of Las Vegas, Nevada, in the Harley-Davidson-sponsored Ford. However, 13-year-old Joe not here tonight. Perhaps beyond his bedtime. It is a school night after all.
Well, that's absolutely right, Darrell. I would say that's exactly right. But you talked about some of the oldest. Let's talk about, or youngest. Let's talk about the oldest. How about T.J. Bartell, a 7-year veteran, 44 years young. So we'll see a big mix of older guys to a lot of younger guys. So what are we going to see, Darrell? I guarantee you we're going to see close, side-by-side, very exciting racing here at the FTSRL Truck Series. Take us to the green, old buddy.
24-year-old Brody Hanna will stomp on the loud pedal as the green flag flies. The Spiral Studios 120 is underway here in Hampton, Georgia at Atlanta Motor Speedway. They climb the 24 degrees of banking for the first time here tonight, and the trucks will get up to full song as they head down the backstretch. They'll finally reach 4th gear. One truck hard off the outside wall, and the yellow flag flies. Here in the opening laps of this one, the yellow flag flies for the 40 of Richter as Richter went around here in turns 1 and 2, and it looks like, Michael, the back end just stepped out on him. Open setups, cool temperatures. It's understandable to see why that 40 may have gotten away from Darrell Richter.
Oh, that's exactly right, Darrell. And the caution was for the 40 of Darrell Richter. The truck you've seen hard into the outside retaining wall, though, was the 52 of Garland Meadows as he slammed hard into the outside wall coming out of turn 2. So that will be very interesting to see if there's any damage there, as I think Matt Racing Kid Thomas has a replay.
Indeed, I do, Michael. The number 40 truck, he was going down into the corner of that Stan Richter, and I'm not sure if it's right when he shifted or not. He just started getting sideways, and that 100 truck also got a little loose behind him, so I'm not sure if somebody was dropping something on the track there. 40 truck, he gets around. Everybody avoids him. You see the 100 of Rob Hayden Jr. also having some issues out there, so loose setups, cold tires, always got to be right on the edge going into turn 1.
So Hayden has bent up his racing machine just a little bit here tonight. And Michael, we talked a little bit about this racetrack and the lower temperatures, which are going to lead to increased speeds. With increased speeds, you really have to take care of the aerodynamics of these bricks. Trucks. Aerodynamically, they are bricks, essentially. However, they are highly tuned aerodynamic bricks. And with that said, these drivers will need to make sure they conserve every bit of aerodynamic ability they have, what little aerodynamic ability they have, and you can't go bouncing these things off from walls because it will lead to a very long night, or in some cases a very, very short night. But either way, it won't be one that you'll enjoy.
Well, that's exactly right, Darrell, and aerodynamics will be a major factor in the event tonight, Darrell, just as you spoke. And with the open setups, the 2X tire wear, which fans, if you're out there and you're new to sim racing, what that means is instead of on a 33-lap run, instead of it using the regular tire wear, it uses twice the tire wear. So if you're used to getting fuel mileage of 33 laps at Atlanta Motor Speedway, you're going to get 16 laps tonight. So everything doubles. And what that does, Darrell, is that just increases the pit strategy. It also increases how these drivers have to think about taking care of their equipment. And we all know what taking care of equipment does for you at the end of a long race like this one, and that puts you up to the front.
And they say that's what Brody Hanna is best at. That's why Hanna is where he is in the point standings, because Brody Hanna is able to take care of his equipment. And Michael, you and I have done enough sim races together, somewhere in the hundreds now, I do believe. We've worked together on sim races both here over at RLM TV and at High Speed Radio as well. We've done several shows together. We always talk about taking care of your equipment and being there at the end. And that is going to be a major factor here tonight. You cannot go bouncing these trucks off from the concrete here at Atlanta Motor Speedway and expect to have a shot to win. It's just not feasible.
Well, absolutely not, Darrell, and that's exactly right. And, you know, something that we preach not only as broadcasters and as sim racers ourselves, but as league administrators, you know, if you can't take care of your equipment, you're probably going to be towards the back. And the guys that can take care of their equipment, whether they start in the back or whether they start in the front, they will always be there at the end. And it's guys that take care of your equipment that you want to learn from. And I tell you what, being a league administrator and having some guys in my league that I know can take care of equipment, one of the best in the sim racing business, races with us week in and week out. And he's matter of fact, he's right here close to us tonight. So you know, we learn a lot every time we get behind him, and that's what you hope for, and that's what these guys are learning from Brody Hanna right now. It's how to take care of your equipment. And a lot of these younger guys, my saying to you is, learn from the veterans, learn from the guys that are able to take care of their equipment. You'll progress your career so much further by doing that instead of trying to be out there and winning it on the first lap.
Well, you know, Michael, you're too kind. I don't race with the guys all that much over at SKFSA, but I'm glad I can be an inspiration to you guys when I do. The truck you see on the screen is James Gutta out of Castleton, New York. That's where it's listed as a Valvoline Ford, but you can see that says Lucas on the truck right now. Gutta, by the way, 17 years of age, and James looking to give that machine one heck of a run. And James, one of those guys that even at his younger age, 7 years younger than Brody Hanna, Brody at 24 years of age, he's one of those guys that is really good at taking care of his equipment and being as patient as he needs to be. Not overly patient, but as patient as he needs to be.
Well, that's exactly right, Darrell. And you know, anytime you see that number 6 on a truck or a car or whatever it is, as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. You think of Mark Martin, and what's Mark Martin the best at? Taking care of his equipment. And James Gouda, you've got some shoes to fill there, but I think you can do it. Green flag back in the air as we start lap 5, or complete lap 5 of the 98 there.
James Gutta getting a good look at the back bumper of Brody Hanna as they work their way. Oh, Hanna loose! Hanna right down onto the flat of the racetrack. Tries to get back up. Can everybody clear Brody Hanna? Hanna will drop back through this field. Oh, my goodness. Hanna did a great job keeping control of that truck. That could have been a huge incident. The back end steps out when you're leading the race on a restart. Your heart will skip more than one beat.
Well, that's exactly right, Darrell, and the same thing happened to him that happened to the 40 car of Richter a while ago, right in the middle of a shift. That's when his truck stepped out on him. But what a great job of saving it by Brody Hanna. What an excellent job of missing him by everybody else. His cars are all in the outside wall coming off turn 2. And, Darrell, we haven't got to talk about it much yet, but turn 2, coming out of turn 2 and coming up out of turn 4 are going to be the trouble spots here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway as your car wants to pick, or your truck wants to pick up a push coming up out of 2, and the wall gets really tight when you come out of 4.
You're watching the battle between the number 50 and the number 9 machine. The 50 is Brian Bliss. The 9 is Sean Boehm. We talked about Sean, 14 years of age. Sean to the high side. Brian Bliss down on the inside. The number 50 machine. Well, Brian's a little bit older than 14. He can actually go to the store and purchase alcoholic products if he so chooses, but he hasn't been able to do it for long. Brian, just barely 21 years of age. The young guns definitely reigning supreme as right now. James Gutta, 17 years of age, is your race leader. Meadows in the number 52 machine, 27 years of age, sits in second spot. And then it's the old man. I suppose you could call him the old man, T.J. Bartell, out of Mechanicsville, Virginia, 44 years young. The 7-year veteran of FTSRL is up there in the 3rd position. So we've got the youngest and one of the middle-aged guys, and then the oldest driver here with Full Throttle Sim Racing and the Full Throttle Sim Racing Leagues.
Well, that's exactly right, Darrell. And as the battle for second starts to heat up between Garland Meadows and T.J. Bartell, that's just going to be a battle that's going to continue to rage. As Gouda watches out his mirror, he sees Bartell to the high side. He'll make the pass. Meadows will drop back. Now here comes the 11 of John Adams and Morton. T.J. Morton coming up through the field also as the battle up front starting to heat up, Darrell, as Garland Meadows, though, is on his way to the back. Now he's stuck in what they call the sucker hole. He's right in the middle. Now Garland will get it to the bottom. He'll let the high side go by. Smart piece of driving there by Garland Meadows. He's starting to slip back. Get his truck back in line. Let the faster trucks go. We've got a long ways to go yet, Darrell.
Yeah, still plenty of racing to go. 98 laps of scheduled distance here in this one. Could have a potential battle up towards the front very, very soon. Gutta leads this charge, but they are building a big run on the high side. Bartell on the charge as Bartell up to the second spot. Bartell, once again, the quote-unquote old man of the group. Gutta, the younger of the group. Gutta, 17 years of age. Bartell, 44 years of age. We'll see what wins out. Youth and exuberance or age and experience.
Well, I'll tell you what, Darrell, youth and exuberance will get you a faster race car as the battle for third now starts to heat up between the 12 of Travis Morton and the 11 of John Adams. Morton to the inside, Adams to the high side, Darrell. And right now, as tire wear and the fuel load starts to wear off in these trucks, the high side starting to be the lane of choice, and won't be long. We'll start seeing the Harry Gant, Richard Petty lines up at the top of the track.
You're about to ride in car. Your chauffeur is going to be the number 46 of T.J. Bartell, the Autolite Chevrolet. For T.J. Bartell taking us for a ride here at Atlanta Motor Speedway as T.J. taking us for a nice little run. You can see the back of the Lucas Oil sponsored entry. That's the number 6 of Gutta, and I'm trying to get a good look at the number 6 of Gutta. That's a Chevy Silverado. So he's gone from a Valvoline Ford to a Lucas Chevrolet.
You know, sometimes we have sponsor manufacturer changes, and Gouda's just, you know, he's young enough, he can try out his wheels on anything he wants to right now, Daryl, and he'll finally settle into a truck and a vehicle and a sponsor, and James Gouda will be around for a long time. We'll be talking about him from years to come. Our grandkids maybe even talk about it, Daryl.
Well, James Gouda has decided that he's got to get going if he wants to stay ahead of the number 46 of Bartel. Bartel, by the way, racing for Carbon Motorsports, would be looking for T.J. Henry, but T.J. Henry not in contention here tonight. So Bartel kind of running all alone, pretty much solo up the front with no partners up there, no teammates up there as you look out the rear bumper of your race leader. As Bartel disappears, there he is. There's Bartel right back in your camera view as he was trying to take a peek to the inside of the number 6 machine of Gouda. Several drivers now working the extreme high groove here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
The 12 of Travis Morton, Darrell, was all the way up against the outside retaining wall. And as the King, Richard Petty, once said, one of the reporters, I believe it was, I forgot his name, who asked him. But anyway, the question was, Richard, why do you drive so high? And he says, because, first of all, it don't hurt as bad when you hit the wall if you're up there against it.
Yeah, DW always tells the story on Fox Broadcasting. As a matter of fact, a lot of us have been gotten sick of hearing DW talk about it every time they go to Darlington or Daytona. The question was, why do you run so close to the wall, Richard? And Richard said, because if I lose a tire or something happens, I don't have to go as far to hit it, and it won't hurt nearly as bad. I won't hit the wall nearly as hard. Not a bad strategy, as now we're going to have almost a battle for the top spot as Bartel stepped out of line, tried to find a way around Gouda, but Gouda said, you ain't going to get around Gouda. I got to go. You ain't going to get around the Gouda.
Exactly. Now the battle is heating up for the third spot. John Adams and Travis Morton. They're still battling, Darrell, and these guys are attached at the hip, I believe. They've been side by side now for about the last 10 laps, swapping back and forth, top side, bottom side. As they're starting to approach lap traffic, the 07 of Wallace is getting ready to go a lap down as your leaders are approaching. Gouda to the high side. Bartel follows right in his tire tracks, and all the trucks now are starting to go to the high side, Darrell. And if I'm one of these crew chiefs, I've got to be starting to look at some adjustments that I can make to my truck to get that truck to handle on the bottom at the end of the long run. Because if I do, I've got clean open track because every one of the trucks are up to the high side there.
Most of the trucks running that high groove. A couple drivers looking down to the inside. One of those drivers, the 07 of Wallace. And Wallace is getting hung in to dry. It seems like the high groove here at Atlanta Motor Speedway is the groove to have, and it would make sense. Why? Because this is Atlanta BR. The high groove has a little bit more grip, and it was constructed originally, as Wallace goes a lap down here in this one, it was constructed originally for the Cup-style cars. The intention was not to have the Craftsman trucks running this particular facility, but a lot of the leagues have said, we like the way this track drives. We like the way Brian Ring has constructed this facility. We're going to run everything on it. And when you run the Craftsman trucks on a BR track, oftentimes you get what we see here right now, and that is a lot of high groove racing, or penthouse running, as we call it.
A lot different than we see at Daytona and Talladega, where it's bottom feeders and bottom line racing. Here today, it's the high side, and the penthouses are full right now, Darrell, because everyone, and I mean everyone, is up to the hot side as the caution flag flies, Darrell. As we're on the rear bumper of the 50 truck of Bliss, the caution flag will fly for the second time as we complete lap 23 of 98.
Yeah, trouble for the number 22 machine of Kinsey Jr., and it looks like he just got up too high into the wall and came down across the nose of another truck, then turned her around on the front stretch, and I believe may have actually had, he did get away from it, but unfortunately he felt that the damage was too much. Yeah, he wound up popping it into the wall, trying to turn the machine around, and said, okay, I've had enough. I'm going to go ahead and park this deal here tonight. So that's going to move Wallace up one more spot at least. Kinsey will join Hayden as the only two trucks out of tonight's event. So Kinsey Jr., the number 22 machine, is out. Matt Thomas has the replay.
Yeah, go watch the Coors Light number 22 coming out of the corner, and Kinsey gets up high out of the gray area, and then the 71 is right there. He's starting to come back down the track, trying to save it. Spins down through the grass, across the start-finish line, mostly keeps it off the wall and not a lot of contact, gets it back out of the racing groove, and it's a little bit of damage on the right side, and then he spins it back around and does more damage trying to spin it back around than he did when he actually wrecked, guys.
Winds up in the outside retaining wall. Tough break for Kinsey as we're having wholesale pit stops here, Michael. A lot of drivers taking their opportunity to come on down pit road, get some service done.
Oh, absolutely, Darrell. And right now the call of the day on all three of your top three trucks. 4 tires, 2 full cans of Sunoco racing fuel. Your leader, James Gutta, will be the first truck off pit road. TJ Bartell second off. Minor adjustments to both trucks, Darrell, as they looks like they put a round of wedge in the TJ Bartell truck, took a half a pound of air pressure out of the James Gutta vehicle. So very interesting adjustments for your front two. The third place coming out will be John Adams. So 4 tires and 2 full cans of fuel on the pit road, Darrell.
Also, bad news for Mr. Meadows. He's out, gearbox problems. Has put the number 52 of Garland Meadows out of Winchester, Virginia, out of this race. We're going to go ahead, take a quick break. We'll come back with more racing action. You're locked in with the Spiral Studios 120, part of the Full Throttle Sim Racing GoDaddy Truck Series. You got it live here on OLR TV.
Clear outside. You're doing great. Keep it up. White flag. One more lap. Go low. Go low. You're going to go on the wall.
Going to get freight train one way or another, enough to make that thing as wide as a double-wide mobile home. Marlo's making a move up to the middle.
3 wide, you're in the middle. Okay, one more time. White flag, you're the man.
As they come onto the back stretch, it looks like there may be a move back in the back. Chris Haskins now moves into the fifth position.
Yeah, you throw it to me. I'm gonna be wide open.
The world of light beer.
Woo! Yeah! You were open and now you are closed!
Just got a little darker. Introducing new Michelob Ultra Amber. With its deep amber color and full flavored taste, it's the new look of light beer.
No free pass, baby. Ooh, late hit.
Welcome back as the green flag flies here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Gonna still your race leader. Bartel sits in second. Morton is third, but a collection is forming as the several drivers look to the inside line here, and yellow flag flies. We're going to slow this field down once again, and Richter again involved in this most recent yellow flag. Truck just got away from him on the restart. It seems like the gear shift, Michael, is where it's getting these drivers. Going from third to fourth gear is really getting them in the corners.
That's exactly right, Darryl, and that's exactly what we've seen. Once again, we had cold tires. The temperature is really cooling off now, Darryl. The ambient temperature has dropped some 6 degrees since the start of the race. That means the track temperature is cooling that much more with it in turn. So these cars will get a little bit looser as we get along, and that's just going to make for faster temperatures. The trucks. Just blinded one eye and can't see out the other, Darryl. But the trucks are going to get looser as we get farther into this. So the guys have got to be gentle on the restarts, and they will learn that as time goes on.
And one of the problems is Atlanta Motor Speedway is one of those tracks that in a truck you can go flat out around this place. It's not a matter of you need to lift off in the corners and things like that, but when the tires are cold, you must take extra care, and that will mean lifting in the corners and being real careful with those gear shifts, and that's what's been biting these drivers in the early going, is the shifting of the gears. As Matt Thomas cues up the incident here, as believe Richter went around, didn't exactly hit anything, but that's the second time that Richter's gone around and brought out a yellow flag here. Matt Thomas will show you spin number 2 for Richter.
Yeah, you can see they're just getting up to speed, and he's getting down in the corner here. Looks like they're probably just getting ready to shift, and he gets back end, comes around. That truck's way too loose. Got to go into the pits and drop the track bar on that baby a little bit loose. So better loosen it up or park it. That's what I say.
Yeah, and the truck seems to be loose on the restarts. Obviously, cold tires, and as we talked about, Michael, the gear shift. Shifting gears is really biting a lot of these drivers. That's exactly what cost our pole sitter, Brody Hanna, and put Brody towards the back of the pack. Well, I know you're enjoying watching this race on the small window that we can provide for you here on the World Wide Web, but if you want to get the full enjoyment, DVD is the way to go. High definition DVDs are available here from OLR TV, and up until midnight Eastern Time, we'll give you that pre-order price of $8. $2.99 shipping and handling, and after midnight, the price does go back up to the $11 price, but still a pretty darn good price. You can also go back through and order some of the other races we've had here on OLR TV. For example, that phenomenal DMP Pro Series race from a couple of weeks ago at Pocono, race number 1, the race that everybody on the web is still talking about when DMP's Pro Series showed you what can be done with the new software, ARCA Sim Racing 2008. And Michael, they really put that software on display that night.
Oh, absolutely, Darryl. growing pains is what the ARCA Sim Racing was going through. But I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget that at the end of July, or middle of July, the low LOLR TV land discounted rate till the end of the month, $49. We get you joined up. That's in Florence, South Carolina this year. We expect to see all of our OLR TV listeners and drivers out there for the big OLR TV land. And Darryl, hopefully me, you, and Matt Thomas can all get together and have the OLR team there in full stride.
Well, unfortunately, I do have prior commitments for that time frame, July 18th through the 20th in Florence, South Carolina. $49.99 if you sign up before Saturday at midnight. Saturday at midnight, the price goes back up to its previous position, which is, I believe, close to $80. So you can save about $30 by signing up before Saturday at midnight. Once again, July 18th through 20th in Florence, South Carolina. I know Matt Thomas is going to try to make it down to Florence, if for nothing else, to get some good racing in and to hang out with Edward Alexander and all the folks here at OnlineRacing.com and all of you viewers out there that want to come out and meet the legendary Matt Racing Kid Thomas, one of the true icons in sim broadcasting. That's your opportunity. And I believe he might be able to be encouraged to sign a few autographs. And you may actually get to see the Racing Kid mobile. We'll have to ask him, Matt, are you driving down? And if that's the case, will they get to see the Racing Kid mobile, which I believe is a 1980s Honda Civic, isn't it?
No, I don't think I'll be driving that down there. I think I'm going to be hopping on a big silver bird and flying through the clouds. I just got to figure out if I'm taking a computer with me or going to put one together down there, see if Edward can lease me a computer so I don't carry everything with me.
Another good point, by the way. If you're concerned about bringing your items with you, you may be able to get in touch with Edward Alexander and see if we can maybe work out something to get you a system down. You can also mail your system, which isn't a bad way to go. Green flag flies. We are back underway as James Gutta gets a beautiful restart, but that, Michael, might come back to bite him as he's pulling away a little bit too far right now. The draft will come into effect down the backstretch, and I believe that Bartel and Morton will track him down real quick.
No doubt about it, Darrell. These trucks punch such a big hole in the air that the draft here is incredible going down the backstretch way at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. But Gutta, I tell you what, he's got to go because he's put on a great show all night, and he has one strong automobile in that Lucas Oil Chevrolet Silverado. But he's got a mirrorful right now of T.J. Bartel. But T.J. Bartel now has a mirrorful of Travis Morton, who has bypassed the 11 of John Adams. It's Morton and Bartel battling side by side. Then it's back to Adams and Alabon side by side for 4th and 5th.
Bartel will have the better run off the corner up on the high side, able to keep that momentum up just a little bit more. Morton had to burp the throttle coming off the corner to avoid getting into the number 46 machine. That's going to give the advantage to Bartel. But Morton will not give up, refuses to go away, sticks it down to the inside, but he is fading fast. The inside line, not the place to be, at least not at this point in the race. But you know the old adage, Michael, if you want to pass someone, you've got to go where they're not.
Well, that's exactly right. And Travis Morton is doing the exact thing he needs to do, and that's work that bottom line, see if his truck can handle there, see what adjustments he needs to make. Because, Darrell, I tell you, the high line is where it's at right now, but if somebody can make their truck work great on the bottom, watch them to come up to the inside, because you see these guys up in the top line dicing and diving around. They're burping the throttle a lot more than we think they are. The draft is really helping them. But if they get broke loose and you get a guy on the bottom, we could see another great Atlanta Motor Speedway finish, as the Bruton Smith and the boys always put on here at the great Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Look out the rear bumper of the number 11 machine of Adams as Adams goes to the inside. Battle for the number 2 position here, and this one in the pace car, or pace truck in this situation, will come back out, and it looks like it'll be Stocks in the number 3 machine around. Philip Stocks in the number 3 machine, 38 years of age. Around goes the Good Wrench Chevrolet, the GM Good Wrench sponsored number 3 machine for Stocks goes around, and that will slow the action once again here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. And it looks like Stocks did have some contact with the outside wall back again, just got away from Stocks. Everybody able to avoid him, but just unable to avoid the concrete outside the corners here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Happened in turn number 3, the entrance to turn number 3, which is kind of an odd place to see one of these trucks step out, but it just shows you how far on the edge these guys have had to set their trucks up. Matt Thomas has the replay of the incident.
Yeah, you'll watch the Good Wrench number 3 going down into the corner, and Phillips leading a big train of trucks here. And he's going down into the corner, and didn't look like the truck behind him took the air off him. He just flat lost it getting into the corner. Probably got in there a little bit too hard on the gas, trying to got a good push from behind, and just loops it around and bangs it off the wall a little bit. So he's going to have to come in the pits, and a lot of other guys too.
Yeah, I think we'll see a lot of guys coming down pit road. You might as well get and top off that fuel tank, get what you can for tires, and potentially a lot of these guys having to make some adjustments to their machines because they want to run the inside line. Now, Michael, we're going back to a restart, and that's going to mean cold tires once again. Some of these tires have been through a heat cycle. We're going to have just about 60 or so laps to go, a little bit less than 60 laps remaining when the green flag will fly once again here in this one. Still plenty of time to work your way through the field. these drivers are going to have to be extremely patient. I believe we've got the driver of the number 6 machine, James Gutta. James, this is Daryl in the OLR TV booth. You got me, buddy?
10-4, got you loud and clear.
James, you kind of threw us for a loop here, pal. The roster has you driving the Valvoline Ford, when in fact you're in the Lucas Oil Chevrolet. What's the deal with the sponsor and manufacturer change?
Well, we were going strong with Valvoline and Ford up until about half a week ago when something interrupted, and now I had to make just a quick make and sponsor change, but they seem to be doing great to me so far.
Yeah, that truck seems to be treating you very, very well. What's the situation on restarts? The trucks look real loose, especially coming from 3rd to 4th gear in between 1 and 2.
On cold tires, these trucks are almost uncontrollable. I'm on pins and needles the whole time when I'm going through turns 1 and 2. It's just, I'm turning right, I'm letting off, it's a handful. I'm just praying I make it to the backstretch.
What kind of changes can you make to your setup to try to fix that? Or is it just one of those situations that the truck's just so damn fast when the tires warm up, you'll deal with it being loose for a couple laps?
Well, my truck has been pretty fast, so I don't really want to change anything right now. It's just, I gotta just get used to that being a little loose there, but once it picks up, it flies.
We talked earlier on about the need for drafting partners. You have any drafting partners out there? We see that you're pretty much listed as all alone on James Gutta Motorsports. Who out there are you going to look for to work with you?
My main drafting buddy with me is my friend John Adams in the number 11 Chevrolet. Me and him did a bunch of practicing here, and we're running virtually the same identical setups. So I hope we can get 1-2 and hopefully stay there until the end and battle it out there.
Now, what's the situation with the low line? Obviously, everybody wants to get to the high side right now. Can you run the low line in that number 6?
If the people start catching me in the back, I'll switch to the low line, see if I can pull away from them a bit. But if I can keep my distance on the high side, I'll stay there.
All right, James. Well, the pace lights are out. We're going to let you get back down to business, buddy. Maybe we'll talk to you at the end of the race in victory lane.
I hope so. Maybe I'll see you there.
There you go. That's James Gutta, driver of the now Lucas Oil Chevrolet, as James will try to once again pull away from the remainder of these drivers, but he doesn't want to get away from Adams because Adams is his main drafting partner. Adams from Carbon Motorsports. So Carbon and James Gutta Motorsports working together.
Well, that's exactly right, Daryl, and it'll be interesting. You know, we talk about working relationships together and how they all work fine until you get down to the end, and then it's kind of every man for himself. So it'll be interesting to see how long Gutta and Adams can work together. But right now, there's a man in the middle of that battle that ain't going away anytime soon, and that's T.J. Bartell, and he's drove a heck of a race in that Chevrolet Silverado-sponsored Chevy, and the number 46 truck is just up there. He's just kind of biding his time, waiting it out to see how the young gun's going to handle it up front. But right now, we're going back to Greendale as we're going to have 57 laps remaining.
What do you do if you're Adams here? You've got a Carbon teammate in front of you in Bartell. You've got a drafting partner ahead of him in the number 6 machine. Either way, it's going to be interesting. I wouldn't want to be in the number 11 machine right now, emotionally anyways. Back under green flag, working our way through turns 1 and 2. Look at the trucks skate around. It's almost as if they are on a sheet of ice as Gutta pounds the wall on a turn number 2. He talked about how difficult this truck is to control on cold tires. Battle for the lead. Top spot could exchange right here. Down to the inside goes Bartell. Bartell, slide job. Up onto the outside. Brand new leader in the 46.
Brand new leader in the 46, T.J. Bartell, the young gun, we're going to call him the young older gun, the 44 years of age. T.J. Bartell, your leader, Daryl, and you said exactly right. James Gutta said he was on pins and needles on this restart. He showed it as he smacked the outside wall. 5 or 6 trucks behind him done the same thing. Now the 11 of John Adams will look to the inside of Gutta. These guys have made a few adjustments on their truck. Their trucks are starting to handle a little bit better down low, Daryl, and that's what we talked about. That's where your pass for the lead may be with everybody up high. Get it down low, get it working. Right now, Gutta, though, he's back on the back bumper of Bartell. He wants that lead back.
He wants to lead back, but his drafting partner is dropping back. He's dropped back just a little bit as they were 3 wide momentarily behind all of this here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. If we stay under green flag conditions, I think what Bartel was able to do was he capitalized on the mistake from James Gutta. Gutta bounced off the wall out of turn number 2, and that slowed Gutta down just enough to allow Bartel to get by. Bartel had a choice, lift and get freight trained with James Gutta or go around Gutta. I think Gutta may have made a little bit of a tactical error when he didn't step out of line with his drafting partner Adams in the 11 machine. Now Adams has fallen back from Gutta, and you got to wonder if Adams is going to think twice about going with Gutta to the inside, since Gutta didn't roll the dice with him early in the race.
Could very well be, Darrell, and that's what I said. The partnerships last as long as it is to its advantage as the yellow flag flies once again. Travis Morton in that 12 was really building up momentum in that Dodge Ram, Miller's Welding Dodge Ram, but back to the inside, battles back to the field. And so once again, I say the yellow comes out for the 3rd time tonight, Darrell.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's our young gun, the number 9 machine of Sean Boehm out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, in the Monster Energy drink, sponsored Toyota for Mackin Motorsports. The 14-year-old number 9 pilot has met with the outside wall here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Had a little bit of help from the number 4 machine of J.R. Evans. This is Michael Cotter in the 04. J.R. Evans is in the regular number 4. The Dentine Fire Dodge had some contact. Matt Thomas will show you the incident.
Yeah, these guys are going to end up battling double wide coming off the corner here. 9 car kind of drifts up off the corner and tries to pull it back down. The 4 truck's there, and then the 4 makes the move down low, and they come together right about the start-finish line. And the Monster Energy drink number 9, he's going to spin around the 87, just barely misses him getting into the corner. The tough break for the number 9, Sean Boehm out there. He's going to have a little bit of dents on the right side and the rear bumper there.
Yeah, the rear bumper is caved in for Boehm. He's going to have to come down and get some service done. But again, this is a situation that a lot of drivers will take advantage of, this yellow flag, and come on down for pit service. Michael Ritchie, I know you got your eagle eyes on there, buddy. What's going on down there on pit road? It's still a little bit fuzzy for me from here.
Well, James Gutta hits his pit stall right on the mark, along with T.J. Bartel. Right sides on both vehicles. The crew goes around to the left side. They're packing the fuel cell full of fuel. Minor adjustments for both Bartel and Gutta. Gutta will beat Bartel off the pit road. James Gutta will come out your first truck off the pit lane. Looks like Bliss, though, stayed out on the racetrack there, Darrell. So Bliss will be your leader. He'll pick up 5 bonus points. Brian Bliss from Elmira, New York, stayed out on the speedway. Kind of an interesting strategy as the rest of your leaders are on pit road. 4 tires, 2 full cans of Sunoco racing fuel.
Well, folks, we're always interested in bringing you interesting things here at OLR TV. One of the interesting things we have is the ticker and our track overview. Now, you can see the track overview on your screen right now. However, if you want to follow along with the track overview, right down in the bottom of your OLR TV viewing screen, this only applies to live. Obviously, you're not going to have the link on your TV if you're watching this on DVD. But if you're watching us on the live web stream, you can follow along with the track overview tonight, which is functioning and working quite well, by the way. And you can see the cool little features that the track overview will give you here on OLR TV. As, again, another way for you to follow along with the action here at OLR TV, Michael.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if ever producer out on the World Wide Web was as good as our own Matt Racing Kid Thomas, the broadcasting will be great everywhere. But I tell you what, we've got the best in the business sitting behind the controls down in the truck. And ladies and gentlemen, if you ever want to see a master at work, you come watch Matt Racing Kid Thomas do his job. And that's why you have such great views and great add-ons on the website to watch this viewing and take NASCAR racing, sim racing to a whole nother level.
Yeah, and you know, Matt and I are friends. We've been friends for quite some time. There's no secret in that. But whenever I call Matt, especially if it's a broadcast day, but even if it's not a broadcast day, he's always working on something for the OLR TV broadcast. Speaking of OLR TV, if you're wondering who the voices you're hearing are, my name is Daryl Morley. I've been in sim broadcasting for just about 7 or 8 years, just about as long as Matt Thomas has. As a matter of fact, we were the guys that started this whole deal. Michael Ritchie is the new kid on the block, even though he's had a couple years now under his belt. Michael does a fantastic job, and we are very happy to have Michael Ritchie as part of the OLR TV family. As Michael, you and I have worked together several times over the years, and I always look forward to working with my good friend from Kentucky, Michael Ritchie.
Well, Daryl, it's a privilege to just even be considered to be the OLR TV family with the godfather of sim broadcasting, yourself, and Matt Race and Kid Thomas, the best producer any money can buy. And there's not enough money out there to get you two together very often. And when you do, you can expect the best of the best being right here on OLR TV. And that's exactly why people come out in droves. As we said, 125,000 of our best friends here, plus our viewing audience here to watch these FTSR Full Throttle Sim Racing League trucks here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. As we're going to come by halfway. We just completed halfway this time by.
Halfway home here in this one when they cross the stripe, and your halfway leader will be Brian Bliss in the number 50 machine. We'll get the green flag at, oddly enough, the halfway point, 49 down, 49 to go. And all I can say to that, since we're approaching football season is already halfway point, 49 laps, go Niners, baby. Woohoo! 49 laps to go as the green flag flies.
Well, let's hope these next 49 laps are better than your 49ers were last year, Daryl. That's all I know to tell you because, anyway, Brian Bliss, your leader,
well, Michael,
followed by the 3 of P.J. Stocks. And Stocks, you know, Daryl just spun a few laps ago. Now he's up to the second spot, so very interesting strategy there.
Couple drivers off the wall once again out of turn number 2, and if the track does not burst into flames and kill everybody around it with some huge fireball explosion, this race will be a lot better. These 49 laps will be a lot better than the San Francisco 49ers season last year. But it feels good to be able to be on the air with you and refer to them as the San Francisco 49ers once again.
That's exactly right, ladies and gentlemen. And then as we watch the battle heat up for the second spot, James Gutta on his way back up through the field. He's got his buddy. Look who's behind him, Darryl. There's Bryce Hanna. And remember, Hanna spun out early in the event or got loose early in the event. He is your points leader. Brody Hanna. I'm sorry, not Bryce. I don't know where I got that from. But Brody Hanna back up to the front, and that's why Brody Hanna is your points leader, because he's able to overcome mistakes. And now Gutta and Hanna both got it stuck to the bottom of the track, Darryl. And what I tell you about the bottom of the speedway, that's where your moves are going to come from, and that's where they're coming right now. 3 wide.
They were 3 wide because Bliss got pounded into the outside wall. He just got stuffed, essentially. Looks like the back end got loose out of turn number 2 as the yellow flag flies, more than likely either for debris or aftermath from that one. He got loose and then slammed the outside wall. Didn't have any contact from another driver, but he definitely hit that outside wall a ton. And it looks like the incident, the caution flag is flying for the number 9 machine. And it looks like it wasn't really his fault. The 04 machine went around right in front of him. That 9 machine needs to stay away from anything with a 4 in the number.
Exactly right there. And as you was talking about the 50 truck of Brian Bliss, looked like he got a little loose as the field was coming up behind him. And when he did, it looked like an overcorrection, as we'll see on the replay when Matt Racing Kid Thomas brings it to us here in just a few moments. But as you said, hard on the outside wall, no contact. Just that's the aerodynamic effect coming into play here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. And Matt Racing Kid Thomas, show us exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, you can see the 50 truck out up in the wall there, and then we're going to watch the Summit number 04 truck. He's going to go into the corner here, and he breaks loose way up on the high side, comes back down across the track in front of the 9, and the 9's going to get a lot more damage than he got from the last wreck when it was more of his own doing. So 9 truck gets the worst of that one, but the 04 also gets a piece of it. 2 trucks going to have some pretty heavy damage on the right side.
Heavy damage to the right side of that machine, and again, Michael, that's going to seriously hamper his ability to continue on with this race. It's almost like you just threw a parachute out the back of the truck, or you're dragging an anchor. In a high-speed race like this, you're going to be struggling with some damage on your truck.
Yeah, no doubt, Darrell, and very frustrating for a driver to be back there like that, and especially when there's nobody else around you racing with you, Darrell. You know, you kind of hope somebody, you don't want to wish bad luck on nobody, but you hope somebody else has a little bit of damage, so at least you can have somebody to race with, because these guys up front, they're hauling the mail, Darrell. And Brody Hanna, what can you say about Brody Hanna? Had dropped nearly halfway back through the field. He slowly but surely, methodically worked his way back up. And I think we're trying to get some communication set up for you to talk to Brody. Brody, this is Michael up in the booth. You got a copy?
Loud and clear.
Well, Brody, that number 62 Chevrolet truck, Chevrolet Silverado of yours, a little loose in that one turn earlier in the event, shuffled you back to the back, but you've methodically worked your way up to the front. How have you done it, with pit strategy, or are you just able to work your way through the mistakes?
Yeah, I made it interesting for you guys there on that one start. First, it's really loose on the start, but it gets good on the long run. Little by little, you can hardly ever pass here anyway. But with a little help from the 6 truck there, we got from about 5th to 2nd there in a lap. So yeah, I mean, it takes time and a little fast pit action by the pit crew, and we got up here to 2nd. We're gonna see what we can do with these guys.
Well, Brody, we've talked all night about how you're able to take care of your equipment, and you've built up a substantial points lead in this series. But talk about the young gun up in front of you, James Gutta. Tell me how good of a race he's run all night so far.
I'll tell you what, this guy's consistent. He always has been. He's always run consistent in every race. He's always hard to beat. He's especially fast. That's why in qualifying I was surprised I had to pull. He's usually really fast in qualifying, but I tell you, to be as young as he is, he's really shining strong, and it's always a pleasure to race with him. He's one guy, if I had to race with someone down to the tooth, I have to race really hard and race to the line with someone, he'd be the one I want to race with. He's always clean, he's smart with his moves, and I just have a blast racing.
Well, I tell you what, we've talked to him a little bit, and he does sound mature beyond his years there, Brody, but we know that you yourself, this could be an interesting battle shaping up. Good luck to you. We'll let you get back down to your office, because we know we're going back to green next time by, and maybe we'll see you or James in victory lane. We'll see how it comes down at the end.
All right, I look forward to seeing how this plays out, and it's going to be interesting. That's all I can say.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's your Gladiator Garage Works number 62 Chevrolet Silverado of Brody Hanna, your current points leader and current second place, Darrell. And he says he's got a lot of respect for that number 6 truck in front of him, but respect may go out the door at the end of this race, as they'll battle hard to the finish of this one.
Yeah, and you got to wonder if that line of, man, I got a lot of respect for that young racer in the number 6 machine, you got to wonder how true that line will ring right about lap number 97 or lap number 98, if indeed Hanna is still running second to that number 6 machine of James Gutta. A lot of things run out as the laps run out. As the sand works its way through the hourglass and you get closer to the end of the race, you just can't afford to be a nice guy anymore. And sometimes it's just the way it goes. Pace truck is in. Green flag flies. Much better restart for Brody Hanna, already on the back bumper of James Gutta.
And Darrell, with the trucks being as loose as they are on the restart, it'll wonder how much looser that will make that truck of James Gutta. But Gutta and Hanna gives Gutta plenty of room. There's Travis Morton right behind them. Plenty of room on the start. Very professional racing right there up front, Darrell, because that could have been very tragic if that would have been, if they had pushed it very hard.
Yeah, if Hanna hadn't backed off a little bit, he would have made that number 6 truck very loose. He would have taken the air off the back of that truck, off the bed, so to speak, and Gutta would have had his hands even more full than he already does. Watch these trucks twitch as they come through the corner. You can see Hanna drifting up and down the racetrack. That's him trying to correct that machine. It's that loose. It'll push for a second, then it'll get loose, then it'll push for a second, it'll get loose again. You heard James Gutta talk about how loose his truck was on the initial start. Hannah already told you these trucks are real loose, real difficult to pass, especially on colder tires. And that's what these drivers are dealing with, colder tires and extremely high speeds here. Cold temperatures, cold tires, high speeds. It's a recipe for potential disaster.
Well, that's exactly right, Darrell. As we go in car with your points leader, Brody Hanna, as you see the back bumper of the number 6 Lucas Oil Chevrolet of James Gutter up front. Now, Hanna will look to the inside. And I tell you what, Darrell, he's just trying him out right now. He's seeing exactly what the young gun has got. And now Hanna will look to the inside. He'll go side by side with Gutter. Here's a battle for the lead. 60 laps into the race, Darrell.
59 laps complete, working lap number 60. Hanna to the inside, Gutter to the outside. They drag race down the backstretch here at Atlanta Motor Speedway towards the 24 degrees of banking. That is turns 3 and 4. Hanna with the advantage through turns 3 and 4, and the reason for it is Morton right there on the back bumper. Hanna up to the high side will complete the pass. Morton may be hung in the dry. He may be left in the cold down on the inside line, as now your top 3 on the high side get nose to tail. Morton's in trouble down on the bottom.
Morton is in trouble, Darrell, but I tell you what, Travis Morton has been working that bottom to perfection. Most of the night he's worked on his truck. He's got it a lot better because the time before he dropped back 4 spots when he got to the bottom. This time he's hanging right in there in the 3rd spot. And I'm telling you, Darrell, I just feel it. It's coming to me that the bottom is going to be where your winner is going to come from. I honestly think that as we get further into this race.
Well, you know, Travis Morton is either offering welcomes to Hanna or very sarcastically saying you're welcome to Hanna, because Hanna, the second he cleared Gutter, jumped to the high side where the speed would be a little bit higher for Hanna, and Brody Hanna left Morton in the inside groove and just left him in there to dry, and right now Morton is dropping through this field because nobody else wants to come down and run the inside groove with him. Nobody wants to play with him down at the bottom.
Well, that's exactly right, Darrell. Nobody yet, but I tell you what, you know, I still think Morton's doing the smart thing, getting down there, trying it out, and he's not losing that many spots. He's dropped back now to the 5th spot, so he's lost 2 spots actually on the exchange. But now he's starting to get a little bit of help as the 88 of Tom Price starts to tuck down there with him. And if Morton can get some help down there that is able to substantiate the high side draft, then Morton will be in good shape.
71 truck taps the wall here. That's Edwards in the number 71 machine. Adam Edwards out of Council Bluffs, Iowa. I do believe that's Iowa, and the Hewlett-Packard Toyota for Trade and Paint Motorsports. That's Brandon Elder's teammate. Brandon not here tonight in the number 70 machine, and Brandon really would have been useful here tonight in this race. This is a drafting race, and that 71 machine just pounced the outside wall or hit the outside wall a decent amount as you watch the 88 machine of Price and the 04 of Carter as they work through this field. Carter with the bead on the back bumper of the number 88 of Price. Price will try to hold off Carter, and Carter has a previous race leader, Brian Bliss, on his back bumper as well. We'll see if Carter and Bliss can team up to get by the number 88 of Price.
And Darrell, our field is broken into 3 separate packs now. You've got your lead pack, which goes all the way back to the 10th spot. It was Brian Bliss. Then you've got the next pack, which starts at 11th and goes all the way back to the 16th spot and the 71 of Edwards. Then you've got Wallace and Richter, who are completely off the pace. But 3 separate packs here, Darrell. In the first pack, as long as they stay racy, this second pack ought to be able to work their way back up to them as the battle for third starts to heat up. Here comes Michael Alabon. We haven't talked about him much tonight, but he's looking to the inside of P.J. Bartel as the battle for third starts to heat up there.
Alabon will drop in behind, or Alabama will drop in behind Bartel, as Alabama had very little help down on the inside. Here comes Morton down on the inside, saying, I'll go down the bottom with you, buddy. Not a problem at all. Come on, let's go down the bottom. We'll see what we can do. See if we can work our way up to these boys. As the yellow flag flies, we'll slow this field down once again. And it looks like it's the 4 of Evans hard on the outside wall, possibly with a wee bit of help here in this one. And it looks like Evans just drifted right down into the number 9, who was drifting up just a little bit. That number 9 machine is Sean Boehm, as Boehm looks like he clipped the apron, was drifting up, got into the number 4 machine of Evans. Evans hard into the outside wall here, just under the Georgia Power sign. He comes to a stop, and Evans will retire from this event. Matt Racing Kid Thomas is queuing up your replay. He'll show you what happened to the number 4 machine of J.R. Evans. The Dentine Fire Dodge now out of it. Matt Thomas has the reason why.
It took me a second to queue up the DVR here, but watching the number 4 and the number 9 go down into turn number 3, 4 trucks running together. The truck behind them gets loose, and the 4 just kind of comes down into the 9, and that Dentine truck, I don't know, I don't see a fire under that, but the Dentine truck, he's going to go to the garage after that one, Daryl.
Yeah, that was a hard shot to the outside wall, and I don't think I blame Evans for retiring from this. That's going to leave us with 17 machines, 15 of which will be with relative decent speeds. Pit stops taking place, but Adams will not take a pit stop, nor will Blackner or Wallace. Hanna will lead the charge out of pit road, followed by Gutta, then Stocks and Bartel, and then Olivand, Ellenberg, Morton, Carter, Price, Edwards, Boehm, and then Coe the third and Bliss, and then Richter will be the last driver out of pit road. We'll keep our eyes on pit road, but we've got to take a quick break, pay some bills. We'll come back with more green flag racing action. You're locked in with the Spiral Studios 120 here on OLR TV.
Tired of playing games? You want to live competition? Well, the all-new OnlineRacing.com brings you the absolute best of sim racing. Everybody knows we have the fastest and most stable dedicated servers. But did you know that now we have the easiest software to set up your own races, chat with your buddies? Oh yeah, and remember that Java and that pesky redirector? They're gone, baby. No more of that. We still have our popular games like NASCAR 3, NASCAR Heat, NASCAR 4, NASCAR 2002, and of course, NASCAR Racing 2003. But why are we different? Well, maybe it's the car file showroom, or the setup exchange, or is it the voice chat? Heck, the list goes on and... oh yeah. I'm talking about the absolute best sim racers on the planet to race against. Sure, you can sit at home and race against the computer, but what fun is that? Prove you're the best, race against the best at OnlineRacing.com. But that's just a glimpse of what you'll find on OLR. Come on over and find out why we say OnlineRacing.com. Don't dream it, live it.
Pocono Raceway, and now we're 3 wide for the number 2 spot. Smith on the inside, Bryant in the middle, and on the outside is Davis, still 3 wide. Unreal!
Go. It wasn't a real nasty rollover. We got that on the video. We're going to be able to see it, but the report is
Before getting NASCAR Hot Pass from DirecTV, we did what we always do. We ran the numbers, right, honey?
Right.
Hot Pass has 28 cameras focused on 4 featured drivers for 36 races. 28 times 4 times 36, that's 4,032 angles we didn't already have for just a few dollars per race. It made so much sense, so I said, let's get it. And he said, yes! So we got it.
NASCAR Hot Pass puts you behind the wheel. Now in high definition, only on DirecTV.
Welcome back as the green flag flies here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Talk about great timing. Green flag comes out. We're back to racing and back on the air here at OLR TV. You don't miss a second with OLR TV. And by the way, if the green does fly while we are in commercial, all around goes the 3. Stocks goes around. Yellow flag comes out.
Cold tires, Darrell, means the end of the night almost for PJ Stocks. He spins right in front of the field. A battle for the lead. Going back to the green flag, Darrell, or the yellow flag. Hannah to the inside. Good to the inside. Hannah to the outside. Give it to Hannah. As great battle there as they come back to the line, Darrell. But PJ Stocks running in the third spot, sideways going through turns 1 and 2, and that's never a good thing.
They do race back, by the way, here in this league. Matt Thomas queuing up the replay. You'll see Stocks get loose and just kind of dance it around. He did back it into the wall at the end. A little bit of damage to the number 3 machine, but all in all, not that much worse for where Matt Thomas has the replay.
Yeah, the 3 truck's just going to go away. We've seen this a few times tonight. It looks like he's just about ready to shift into a 4th gear. And I think he's going to pitch loose right about there. He gets loose right about the apex of the corner. Spins it down to the low side. Stays out of harm's way. And it looks like everybody gets by. He's going to spin it around. And now he'll have a chance to go top it off with fuel in the pits.
Yeah, and Brody told us that they were real close on fuel. That it was looking like he was going to need a splash if they didn't have the yellow flag. Well, here's the yellow flag. So Brody and company, the rest of these drivers, should be good to go on fuel here, even though Brody continues to fake down on the pit road. We just came off the replay, and speaking of replays, those of you out there know that I'm one of the announcers for Lee USA Speedway. As don't forget, you can get your DVDs, $8 a pre-order price up until midnight Eastern Time. $2.99 shipping and handling. After midnight goes to $11. You can also get previous races on DVD right here from OLR TV. Those of you out there that know me know that I'm one of the announcers at Lee USA Speedway. I'm blessed to spend my Friday nights with the great John Spence up in the booth at Lee USA Speedway in Lee, New Hampshire. We have some great racing at Lee, and we wanted a way to save all this racing for future prosperity. I guess that's the word, prosperity. Either way, I wanted to save it for use down the road, and sometimes Channel 1 video comes out. Bill Channel does a great job with his single camera, doing whatever he can to capture all the racing action. He's one of the only videographers in the Northeast with some of his work in the Smithsonian, believe it or not. But on the weekends, on the weeks that Bill's not there and Channel 1 video was not in attendance, people have said, how do we get our hands on, footage of the race? Even though we do encourage drivers, we allow fans to bring cameras, video cameras, whatever they want to the racetrack and tape them. We have also started archiving the races in their audio format as well. And High Speed Radio is the proud host of all of the archives for 2008 from Lee USA Speedway. Every feature race, every heat race will be archived and available for stream or download at highspeedradio.com. We do have the Governor's Cup up there in its entirety. You can listen to the races, or you can download them to your iPod, whatever you want for your personal use. However, if you're going to use it for anything other than personal, we do ask to contact High Speed Radio and Lee USA Speedway for permission before you use it for anything but personal use. We also have, I believe, a shortened program from the 16th up there. We've got to get the episode of the issues from the 23rd up there. Last week's racing action from Friday the 23rd, some fantastic racing, 3 wide pretty much all night long. We'll try to get that up at some time tomorrow before we head to the track. It's been an absolute nightmare as far as busy here at the High Speed Radio studios in Mason, New Hampshire. Haven't had time to get it up there on the website yet. Haven't even had time to edit down the audio files and get them into a format that is enjoyable to listen. But we'll get it up there as soon as possible. So if you want to get your hands on some of the audio archives from Lee USA Speedway, highspeedradio.com. Go to programming, mouse over programming, Go down to Auto Racing, and there you'll find a link for the Lee USA Speedway Archives for 2008. You can also find a page that is no longer being utilized. We'll update it for 2008's edition of the Pigskin Boys, one of the most popular shows in the history of high-speed radio. Michael Ritchie and myself talking football all season long. And yes, the pick battle will be back, and yes, there will be something on the line in the pick battle. Not quite sure if we're going to have the renaming rights of a team on the line. After all, I got real tired of referring to my favorite team as the San Francisco take-it-from-behinders all season long.
Oh, Darrell, but you know, it was so much fun because that was a very interesting pick battle all the way down to the end as we brought in a few of our friends. You know, Matt Racing Kid Thomas was in there and a few others, and you know, it's so much fun when football season comes around. Not near as fun as racing season, but football season kind of gets us through that lull when there's no racing going on, and that's what we like so much about it. But right now, Brody Hanna, James Gutta, and Michael Alabon, that's your top three, Darrell, and they're going to take us to the end. Fuel mileage, going to be a concern, Darrell, as we get close to the end. 23 laps to go.
23, 22 laps to go now as they take the green flag. And 23 laps to go, my apologies. No, 22. I'm right again. Either way, the green flag is back out. Brody Hanna is your leader. James Gutta sits in second. Alaband sits in third. Bartel is fourth. Ellenberg is fifth, and the yellow flag flies. We'll slow these drivers down, and it's our old buddy Richter. That's his third solo spin on the evening. I think it might be time to park the 40 truck.
That's exactly right, Darrell. As the sixth of James Gutta was able to capitalize on a rare mistake by the 62 of Brody Hanna. Brody Hanna went to the high side and got a little bit up higher than he wanted to. Gutta was able to power by him on the inside. He'll overtake the lead coming back to the yellow. So Gutta, your new leader, Hanna second, Alabon third, T.J. Bartel, and Ellenberg in your top five.
Yeah, as Richter has his third solo spin of the evening, bringing out the yellow flag. And that machine was off the pace to begin with. If I'm in the 40 machine, I'm going to go ahead and park it right here, right now. But it doesn't look like Darrell Richter is, or not Darrell Richter, I apologize. It's Dan Richter out of Indianapolis, Indiana, is of the same mindset that I would be if I was in that number 40 machine. A lot of leagues have that 3 caution rule. You bring out 3, you park the truck. I don't know that these guys have that rule. After all, they do race back to the yellow. Matt Thomas has the replay of the latest episode and escapade of Dan Richter.
Well, actually, this one I can't blame on him. The 04, everybody's bunched up getting the start. The 04 is going to get around. The 50 gets a piece of it. The 71 gets a piece, and the 04 is going to spin around. And the 40 truck, just not sure where he actually gets around. The 87 comes back up the track. A couple guys trying to get back going here, but maybe the 40 truck just once again just so loose on the restart, and he just spins it all by himself. So I guess he figured the yellow was out. He might as well spin it around one more time.
What the heck? Why not? It was fun the first couple times. We'll spin it again. So I guess the yellow flag not being credited to the number 40 of Richter, as there were other incidents on the track as well. So Gutta takes the lead coming back to the yellow flag here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and that's going to make for some very interesting racing here as we work our way towards the end of this deal, as you've got Gutta, Hanna, Alaband, Bartel, Ellenberg, a lot of good drivers up to the front. We haven't seen the best out of Ellenberg yet. We're going to find out now if we've seen the best out of that number 20 machine. We do believe we've got Michael Alaband out of Viola, Delaware in the Winfuel Dodge. Michael, this is Darrell in the booth. You got me, buddy? Real hard to hear, Michael. Sounds like the window might be down. Microphone's real low for Michael. Michael, you got anything for the top 2 guys here tonight? All right, Michael, we're having a real hard time hearing you, bud. We're going to let you get back to business. and we're going to wish you best of luck, buddy. Hopefully, we can see what you got in that number 20 machine, bud.
All right, thank you.
That's Michael Olivan, driver of the number 20 machine. And Michael Ritchie, he may be extremely soft-spoken, but I think he's one of those drivers that prefers to do his talking with the loud pedal, if you know what I mean.
Oh, that's exactly right, Darrell. And, you know, as I listen to some of our fans out in Peeptropolis, you know, a lot of guys are talking about Michael Olivan as a possible dark horse. But they also say, don't forget about the old man, as they like to call him, T.J. Bartell. So we'll see how this all fans out. James Gutta, though, I think he's going to have something to say about it. And the pole sitter, Brody Hanna, great race. He made a little slip up there a while ago, so we'll see how it all comes down. We're going to have less than 20 to go, Darrell. Nobody's coming to pit road for fresh skins. That's kind of a surprise to me because you can see how much faster these trucks are on fresh tires. So, of course, you also have the looseness of the new tires. But 16 to go when we go back to green. So we'll see how it all goes. And, Darrell, I don't know about you, but Gutta, Hanna, Alban, Bartell, Ellenberg maybe? How about Travis Morton? Who's going to win, Darrell Morley?
I'm going to go with Brody Hanna. I think Brody's been a solid choice all year long, but I think also Brody's going to be watching out for that points lead. And if that's the case, if he's watching out for that points lead, I think you're going to see Gutta come up and steal this deal from him. Gutta, by the way, not even top 10 in points right now. So Gutta needs the win to get up into the top 10. So perhaps Gutta will be the guy to watch here tonight, as I'm gonna say Gutta. I'll say Gutta. I was gonna go with Brody Hanna. I'm gonna go with James Gutta in the number 6 machine. There's something in my Gutta that tells me that James Gutta is gonna win the race. If you know what I mean.
Well, Darrell, I'm going to have to go with not only a namesake of mine, but a fellow Dodge driver. I think Michael Olivan in that 20 is going to pull this off. Gutta and Hanna are going to battle it out, and right now we got to go because it's green flag. We got less than 17 to go, Darrell.
Here we go, back to green. They climb the 24 degrees of banking. Look at Hanna getting the number 6 of Gutta loose. Getting a little bit more pushy here in the closing lap. As these drivers know, they have less than 20 laps remaining here in this race. And it's just about time to start working your passes. And if you're going to have a chance at making somebody else use up their stuff, now's the time to put the pressure on. And I think that's what Brody Hanna is trying to do. Hanna down to the inside, battle for the top spot. Olivan's going to be the deciding factor in this one. He goes to the high side, now looks to the inside, looks in the middle. Looks in the middle, almost makes it 3 wide as they're still side by side for the lead out of turn number 2.
Gutta to the outside, Hanna to the inside. Olivan, as you said, he's the X factor in here, Darrell, and he's still looking that middle groove over. Could he go through the sucker hole? Could he go 3 wide? No, he don't. Gutta to the high side, he'll lead this lap. Hanna to the inside, he's kind of hung in to dry, as you say.
You look out the rear bumper of Gutta's number 6 Lucas Oil Chevrolet. You can see the number 20 of Olivan as now down to the inside. We start to see the formation of maybe an inside groove as several drivers have gone to the inside. The 17 down low, the 12 right back down to the inside. That's Ellenberg and Morton as they look to track down Brody Hanna. And what we need now is we need a guy with the last name of Barbera, and we could get Brody Hanna and then the guy named Barbera together. We could have Saturday morning cartoons all over again, Michael. Get it? Hanna-Barbera?
That's exactly right, Darrell. But right now, that's great, Darrell. That's exactly why you're the godfather of sim broadcasting, and now Michael Olivan is he battling for the lead behind James Gutta. He's got a mirror full, though, of the old man, T.J. Bartell, as Hanna has dropped back to the 4th spot there as I climb back up into my chair here after falling out, rolling on the floor.
You just don't hear enough He-Man references nowadays in the broadcasting world. We here at OLR TV have ventured to change that. Here comes the number 46 of Bartel looking to the inside. Brody Hanna will capitalize on the outside. Hanna will pass up Bartel as they enter turns 1 and 2. Bartel tries to push him up the racetrack just a little bit. Hanna with a better run, more momentum out of turn number 2. If he can keep his foot in it, he'll take the spot down the backstretch.
Hanna up to the third spot. He's got his sights set on Alabon, and Alabon's got his sights set on Gutta. We were going to have 10 to go, or 11 to go when we cross the line this time by. Darrell, Gutta, Alabon, Bartel, Hanna, Ellenberg, your top 5. And what a battle this is shaping up to be. Very draft dependent, Darrell, but somebody's got to make a move here before it's all over.
Somebody certainly has to make a move. We'll wait and see who jumps out and when. Obviously, if you're Alabon, you don't want to jump out too early. Look at Hanna all over the back bumper of Alabon as they work their way into turn number 3. Now Brody Hanna looks to the inside. Back end steps out a little bit on Hanna. He'll have to jump back in line behind the number 20 machine.
And Darrell, my question to Michael Alabon is he having the same trouble that I have when I drive my Dodge Ram around these high-speed tracks? Do I have too much front downforce in that truck where I can't pull out? It's a great follower, but can it get out and lead? Will Hanna go with Alabon? That's the question, because if they don't, they'll never get around Gutta. They've got to go to the bottom.
You ride in car with Hanna in the number 62 machine as, there's contact behind him. Ellenberg turned around. The number 12 machine in the wall. Ellenberg gets turned around, entering turn number 1, and that was with contact with the 88 machine. They hit coming out of the quad oval section, and around went Ellenberg as all hell kind of breaks loose behind him as Boehm gets nailed as well as they race it back to the start-finish line. Alabon will try to get a run to the inside of Gutta in the number 6 machine. Could be his best shot at getting around him. Here comes Brody Hanna down to the inside. Can't get the run on Alabon. Yellow flag in the air, and Gutta will lead him across the stripe. We will go back to green, and it will be a very intense green flag run. Big wreck for the number 17 of Ellenberg, though. Tough break for Ellenberg. Matt Thomas cues up the replay, and Michael, you hate to see this happen, but we're going to have ourselves a very interesting close to this race. Matt Thomas has the replay on the incident. Matt?
Yeah, that 17 truck, he was coming down off turn number 4, and Ellenberg going to get around, and looks like the 88 and him are going to get together right about the start-finish line, and then the 17 is going to collect the 12 truck, and they, looks like the 71 or the 87 is involved there. Oh, man, the 9 truck, I think he just spent his last of 9 lives on the 9 truck, so that was a hard hit into that 71 truck. So 9 truck, heavy contact, and a couple other trucks with some contact. So it'll be interesting here with about a 3 or 4 lap shootout to the end.
We've got my monitor returned to live racing action rather than the replay. I was calling the race back to the finish, or the race back to the yellow, and they had already been back to the yellow. So go figure, that's just the way it happens. As Gutta is your leader, Alabon sits in second, Hanna is third, Bartel is fourth, fifth is Adams, sixth belongs to Price, seventh is Carter, eighth is the number 14 machine of Bob Coe the third, ninth belongs to the number 3 machine of Philip Stocks, and 10th is that number 12 of Travis Morton.
Wallace, Blackner, Richter, and Boehm round out your top 14. Ellenberg and Edwards round out your top 16. And Bliss, the only truck 1 lap down, Darrell, rounds out the trucks remaining on the speedway. Evans, Meadows, Kinsey Jr., and Hayden Jr. all retired from the event. But what a great race it's been so far, Darrell. And we're going to have about a 4-lap shootout, as Matt Thomas said. So the best has come down to the end. Your pick, James Gutta. He's out front. I think I heard Matt Thomas say he wanted to Gutta also. But Alabon, he's right there on the back bumper. But I think if Michael Alabon is going to get this victory, as now we're hearing Matt Thomas says the 62 of Hanna is his pick. But I think if Alabon or Hanna's going to get Gutta, they've got to get him on the start and not let him get a good start.
Yeah, they're really going to have to stay on this restart. One of the things to watch is how good of a start does Gutta get. If Gutta gets too good of a restart, Gutta's going to get gobbled up by Olivand and Hanna. So Gutta's have to be careful. He's going to have to be careful he doesn't get too good of a restart. So Gutta's got to be good, but Gutta can't be too good.
Gutta got to get going, because Gutta going, he's going to get gobbled, like you said, and that's exactly what we're going to have. But Alabon and Hanna have got to be careful. If they got too good a restart, there's going to be a big wreck, and who knows, T.J. Bartell may use his veteran experience and slide through the whole fence.
Bartell could very well be the X factor in this one. Our three picks are first, second, and third. Matt Thomas going with Brody Hanna in the number 62 machine. I'm gone with Gutta because my Gutta tells me so. And Michael has gone with Alaband for two reasons. One, because he drives a Dodge just like Michael does, and his first name is Michael, just like Michael's is.
And because we got all the band with us here, and there's going to be one heck of a party with all the band out on the victory lane, sir.
And the puns continue to fly. We are going to have a 4-lap shootout here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. 4 laps here at this track. That is 6 miles. A little over 6 miles, 6 point whatever miles for this deal, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be extremely good, and it's got to go well if James Gutta is going to win. So Gutta's going to have to get going if Gutta's going to win. Gutta's got to get a good restart.
And if Gutta don't get a good restart, he could have something in his Gutta that don't feel well at the end as these guys passing by on the inside, Darrell. But it's going to be interesting. Lights are out on the Ford safety truck. He'll pull to the inside. 4 laps to go. Just as you spoke, Darrell. Gutta, Olivand, Hanna, Bartell, John Adams, Tom Price. That's your top 6. We'll see how it all comes out, Darrell. The Ford safety truck, he'll pull to the inside. Darrell Morley, call it to the green as we finish out tonight's race here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
4 laps, 6 miles. Green flag flies. We are back underway. Gutta gets a great restart. Gutta's got to go if he's going to take home this win. And it's going to be James Gutta leading the charge. But here comes Hanna. Hanna down to the inside through turns 1 and 2. Risky and bold maneuver for Brody Hanna. Here comes Olivand. Olivand trying to get the run to the inside. Gutta pops the outside wall just a little bit out of turn number 2. They head to 3.
Gutta hit the inside wall. Alaband, though, right on his back bumper. Here comes Brody Hanna to the inside. The battle's for second spot. Hanna to the inside. Alaband to the outside. He'll suck up behind the back bumper of Gutta. Gutta to the high side. Brody Hanna may have cost himself the race right there, Darrell. Don't know, but Alaband and Gutta, or Hanna, have got to work together to catch Gutta.
I don't know that Hanna's going to be able to get back up to where Alaband is. I think Hanna's only possible saving grace is that number 46 of Bartell and the number 11 of Adams. If all 3 of them go to the inside, they will have the run. But how hard are you willing to work to help the 46 of Bartell? You know, more than likely, if he can get around the number 6 of Gutta, he's going to bail on the inside groove, get right back up to the outside groove. Brody Hanna, the only guy right now willing to try the inside groove. Slide job up onto the 5th place driver, and Hanna somehow gets up into 4th place. Here comes T.J. Bartell. Bartell down to the inside, battle for second spot. White flag will fly this time by, and James Gutta loves what he sees in his rearview mirror.
A mile and a half to go. Gutta to the inside. Olivand still right on his tire track. Brody Hanna looks to the outside of T.J. Bartell for the 3rd spot. Hanna to the high side. Bartell to the bottom. The battle's heating up for 3rd. Here comes Olivand for the lead, Darrell. They're going to dive into 3 and 4. Where's Olivand going to go? He's going to go high side. Call it to the line, Darrell. Gutta, your leader. Olivand 2nd.
Gutta, your leader. Olivand in the tire tracks. Makes a move to the inside. Too late. Gutta will take home the win. Olivand will take home 2nd spot. Bartell will take home 3rd. 4th will go to Brody Hanna. 5th will go to John Adams. 6th will go to Carter. 7th to Ellenberg. 8th to Morton, 9th to Stock, and 10th will go to Blackner in the number 87 machine. What a finish as the 15-year-old Blackner takes home a top 10 here tonight on OLR TV. Gutta will get the congratulatory donuts on his door, and he'll be able to do some donuts here on the front stretch. James Gutta, driver of the number 6 machine out of Castleton, New York. The Lucas Oil Chevrolet racing for James Gutta Motorsports, the 17-year-old, 2-year veteran of Full Throttle Sim Racing, takes home the Spiral Studios 120 as part of the Full Throttle Sim Racing GoDaddy.com Truck Series. Gutta will light him up, and you gotta do what you gotta do. James Gutta gotta take home the win and gotta light those tires up. Brody Hanna, congratulations, Gutta. We'll talk to your top 3 when we come back here on OLR TV. Post race is coming up next.
Clear outside. You're doing great. Keep it up. White flag. One more lap. Go low. Go low. You got to go on the wall.
Going to get freight train one way or another, enough to make that thing as wide as a double-wide mobile home.
Marlowe's making a move up to the middle.
3 wide, you're in the middle. Okay, Cam, one more time. White flag, you're the man.
As they come onto the back stretch, it looks like there may be a move back in the back. Chris Haskins now moves into the 5th position.
Yeah, you throw it to me. I'm gonna be wide open.
The world of light beer.
Woo! Yeah! You were open and now you are closed!
Just got a little darker. Introducing new Michelob Ultra Amber. With its deep amber color and full flavored taste, it's the new look of light beer.
No free passes, baby. Ooh, late hit.
Tired of playing games? You want to live competition? Well, the all-new OnlineRacing.com brings you the absolute best of sim racing. Everybody knows we have the fastest and most stable dedicated servers. But did you know that now we have the easiest software to set up your own races, chat with your buddies? Oh yeah, and remember that Java and that pesky redirector? They're gone, baby. No more of that. We still have our popular games like NASCAR 3, NASCAR Heat, NASCAR 4, NASCAR 2002, and of course, NASCAR Racing 2003. But wildly different? Well, maybe it's the car file showroom, or the setup exchange, or is it the voice chat? Heck, the list goes on and... Oh, yeah. I'm talking about the absolute best sim racers on the planet to race against. Sure, you can sit at home and race against the computer, but what fun is that? Prove you're the best, race against the best at onlineracing.com. But that's just a glimpse of what you'll find on OLR. Come on over and find out why we say onlineracing.com. Don't dream it, live it.
Pocono Raceway, and now we're 3 wide for the number 2 spot. Smith on the inside, Bryant in the middle, and on the outside is Davis, still 3 wide. Unreal!
Go. It wasn't a real nasty rollover. We got that on the video. We're going to be able to see it, but
before getting NASCAR Hot Pass from DirecTV, we did what we always do. We ran the numbers, right, honey?
Right.
Hot Pass has 28 cameras focused on 4 featured drivers for 36 races. 28 times 4 times 36, that's 4,032 angles we didn't already have for just a few dollars per race. It made so much sense, so I said, let's get it. And he said, yes! So we got it.
NASCAR Hot Pass puts you behind the wheel. Now in high definition, only on DirecTV.
Yeah, you throw it to me. I'm gonna be wide open.
The world of light beer
Woo! Yeah! You were open and now you are closed!
just got a little darker. Introducing new Michelob Ultra Amber. With its deep amber color and full flavored taste, it's a new look of light beer.
No free pass, baby. Ooh, late hit.
Welcome back here on OLR TV. James Gutta takes home the win in a very strong run, leads 66 of the 98 laps. Michael Alaban takes home second spot. TJ Bartell was third. Brody Hanna was fourth. Fifth spot went to the number 11 of John Adams. Sixth to the 04 of Michael Carter. Seventh went to the number 17 machine of Brent Ellenberg. Eighth to the number 12 machine of Travis Morton. Ninth to Philip Stocks, and 10th went to young Michael Blackner. Blackner finishes and rounds out the top 10. Your official results will be available at the website, fullthrottlesimracing.net. We'll throw it down to Victory Lane, where our very own Michael Ritchie has caught up with race winner, and my pick, might I add, the driver of the number 6, James Gutta. Michael?
Down here in Gatorade Victory Circle, Darrell with the number 6 Lucas Oil Chevrolet Silverado, James Gutta from Castleton, New York. And James, 17 years old, and you pull off a big win here tonight on the Full Throttle Sim Racing debut on OLR TV. Tell me how it feels to beat great drivers like you did tonight.
I still can't believe it. Those last 15 laps were the longest laps of my life. I had a fast truck all night long, and I'm just so glad our team got to get it done. And we're here in Winter Circle celebrating it up.
Well, James, all night long we made reference to your name because you got to get it done, and you did get it done. And what a great run you had. And the guys behind you talked all night about how mature beyond your years you are as a sim racer. Tell us how much you learn week in and week out racing against these experienced veterans like a Brody Hanna or a TJ Bartell.
These guys, man, they can just help your racing so much better. They take you under your wing. They tell you what you're doing wrong, how you can do it better. Most importantly, they taught me it's not a fast truck that wins a race. It's a consistent truck. And knowing that helped me to get it done a lot. I got to thank these guys. They've put a lot of work into me, and they turned me into a true racer.
Well, James, tell us who keeps you racing week in and week out here with FTSRL or whoever other leagues you run with.
Well, ever since I was a kid, my dad, he got me into NASCAR, and ever since then I've been loving it. And unfortunately, sad story it is, he passed away, so I try and live his memory by doing the best I can racing-wise, and it's just fun for me. I'm glad he got me into it while he was here.
Well, I tell you what, the sim racing family, that is a story that lives on and will continue to live on your father's memory and your racing. And James, I know your father's looking down on you and very proud of what he's seeing because you put that number 6 Lucas Oil Chevrolet Silverado in victory lane here tonight on OLR TV, and congratulations. And Darrell, I believe you caught up with our third place finisher, TJ Bartell, as second place Michael Olivon had to leave the track due to some situations that out of our control.
Yeah, he certainly did, but we do have TJ Bartell. TJ, we referred to you at the beginning of the race as the elder statesman of full throttle sim racing, and you did a darn good job keeping up with these quote-unquote young bucks. Certainly showed these drivers what was up. You lead 4 laps here tonight. You start third, you finish third, but that wasn't the whole story. There was plenty of action out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, there was. The FTSR Truck Series, the GoDaddy.com Truck Series, put on a good event tonight. My truck, the Chevy Silverado, sponsored by Autolite, was pretty good. Patience was a key here, just trying to ride in the beginning of the race to log some laps and then try and run for the win at the end.
Well, you did a great job at it. Tell us about trying to get down to the inside line. Looks like anytime anybody got down there, they just got freight trained on the high end.
Yeah, for some reason, when you got down on the bottom, it kind of made the truck loose in the center, and you couldn't get a good drive off. And if you stayed up on the high side, you didn't have that problem. You had a really good run off, and if you didn't have some help kind of pushing you on the bottom, you were sunk. And the problem was everybody knew the high line was a little bit faster, so nobody really wanted to venture down on the bottom, so it made it real tough sledding down there.
Well, a lot of folks tried it down the bottom. They went immediately backwards through this field. Obviously, this is one of those deals that you're here week in, week out with these guys. You come in 5th in points. Another good finish. It's going to move you up a little bit more in the points. You might be able to get ahead of Blackner in the points. Tell us about how important this is for you. You are the leading guy who has yet to complete all the races. You're 2 races shy of everybody else, and you're still 5th in points.
Well, you know, being patient and being consistent and getting good finishes is what that goes to show. You don't have to win all the races, but you have to run up front all the time. And, you know, if you're not running up front, if you're not being consistent, not getting finishes, even when your truck's off or you get in a spin or a wreck or something, you've got to finish the races to keep up there in the points, and I think that shows that.
Well, tell us about the people that stand behind you, back you up, and make sure you get out to race here on a weekly basis with full throttle sim racing. Basically, tell us about your support structure. This is your time to give out your shout-outs, bud.
All right, I'd like to thank my truck owner, who's John Adams, who owns Carbon Motorsports. I drive for him in the Autolite Chevrolet Silverado, week in and week out. I'd like to thank Brody Hanna, who runs the Full Throttle Sim Racing.net League. We have an awesome time here. We get good turnouts. We got a lot of young guys. We got some older guys that have a lot of experience, and it's a good mix. We have a good time every week, and we put on a good show, and that's why I do it.
There you go. That's TJ Bartell as he comes home in third spot with the number 46 machine. Experienced is a good way to describe TJ Bartell. He's also a very, very intelligent racer, knows the most important part of racing. We'll pitch it back to Michael Ritchie, who has caught up with Brody Hanna. Michael?
Daryl down here on pit lane with Brody Hanna from Easley, South Carolina, the Gladiator Garage Works number 62 Chevrolet Silverado. And Brody, I know you being one of the leaders here at FTSRL, tell me how proud you are not only of your fourth place finish tonight, but the way your guys put on one whale of a show in your debut race here on OLR TV.
Yeah. That's completely right, man. I'm more excited about, I was worried about the race being the low line was so slippery, but these guys, you can never underestimate them. They always put on a great show. It's always fun racing with them, and it's just, it's a blast. And being out there and knowing that you're comfortable around the guys that you're racing, and knowing you can make moves and pass, and not have to worry about them not knowing what they're doing. It's a blast.
Well, Brody, tell the people out there in Petropolis and OLR TV land, how can they come and join such a great league as you have here with the Full Throttle Sim Racing League?
All you got to do is go to www.ftsr.net or fullthrottlesimracing.net, either way. We got an FAQ section where it explains how to join. You just follow that, you sign up with RPM, you join our forum, which, by the way, our forum's really active. It's the storylines and the way things go down and just the racing on the track, everything combined together is really what makes FTSR, in my opinion, of course, biased as it is, one of the best places to race. Everyone gets along. It's a blast out there. We run some fun tracks, and everybody pretty much knows each other and gets along with each other. That's what makes a premier league, in my opinion. And the fact that everyone gets along and the racing is just so good, it's so intense, it's so tough to pass out there tonight, is what it's all about.
Well, Brody, we talked to you earlier in the event. We talked about the young guns you had. We talked about the experienced veterans you had out there. And, you see, and myself as a league administrator, applaud your job that you've done with these guys and leagues out there that are growing like mine is. Only hope to be as good as your league that you put on tonight. And what a great show you did. We hope to see you back many, many times here on OLR TV.
Oh, and I look forward to coming back. And I will tell you that the winner there, the second place finisher, is even younger than the winner is. And JG and Michael Alaban, and then you got TJ, the older guy, the experienced guy. You can't ask for a better combination. I mean, these guys span from 16, 17 years old to TJ, and he doesn't want to disclose his age. But he's up there, and that's what's just great about FTSR. Everybody from different places coming together for an excellent race, and I thank you guys for putting on a great broadcast for us, and I look forward to checking it out after we get done.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there's your fourth place finisher tonight, the 62 Gladiator Garage Works Chevrolet Silverado of Brody Hanna. And Daryl, I believe you've caught up with our fifth place driver, John Adams.
Indeed we have, and Mr. President, it's nice. Oh, wait, that's a different John Adams. This one is the sim racer. John, I gotta believe that there are some happy people down in Hiram, Georgia, or Hiram, Georgia, as you gave that Camping World Chevrolet one heck of a run. Carbon Motorsports must be proud.
Oh yeah, I mean, whole race, the low line was really loose down there. High side was the main line to work with the whole time, and I mean, I don't know, it was some hard racing. It was hard to pass out there, and I would just like to say thank you for the great racing we had.
We did a great job out there. I mean, tell us how much fun it is to race with these guys in full throttle sim racing.
It is one of the best leagues that I have ever raced in. This is my third league that I've tried racing, and it's one of the best ones I've raced in. It has a great racing. It's fun. I love the guys around here. They're just fun to race with.
Well, tell us about the people that stand behind you, back you up, and make sure you get to go racing week in, week out. People that help you with setups, anything like that. You got a top 5 here on OLR TV. This is your opportunity for shout-outs, bud.
All right. I would like to thank James Gutta. He was one of my main people to help me out with this track. And I would like to thank my teammate TJ Bartell and Garland Meadows. They helped me through this race and walked me through how to drive it. And besides all that, I would like to thank my mom and dad for supporting me racing, and some of my family out there. I just would like to thank everybody out there.
There you go. That's John Adams, driver of the number 11 machine, not to be confused with former President of the United States, John Adams. I don't think his middle name is Quincy, but it might be. One never does know. That's going to wrap up the racing. We want to offer out a special thank you to Spiral Studios, the presenter of tonight's race broadcast, the main sponsor of the broadcast. Also, GoDaddy and GoDaddy.com, one of the world's finest online registrars, now offering, by the way, a registrar is where you go to get a .com name if you don't know what a registrar is. People are going, what the heck's a registrar? That's what a registrar is, GoDaddy.com, one of the best places to get your .com name. As a matter of fact, I've used GoDaddy.com several times. Also want to thank Full Throttle Sim Racing at fullthrottlesimracing.net. That's fullthrottlesimracing.net, all one word, to check out the action and get involved with Full Throttle Sim Racing. And, of course, OLR, where they remind you, don't dream it, live it at onlineracing.com. Presenters of the OLR LAN event, July 18th through the 20th in Florence, South Carolina. And High Speed Radio, where they tell you that life is too short to slow down. You can check out all the stuff over at highspeedradio.com. Once again, 2008 Lee USA archives available at highspeedradio.com. Michael Ritchie, another successful broadcast. You and I in the booth. It's always good to work the northern and I guess you'd call Kentucky southern, the northern and southern connection.
Darrell, it's always a pleasure to work with you and Matt Thomas, and ladies and gentlemen, we talked about it from the get-go, how fun the trucks are at the Atlanta Motor Speedway when you put a Brian BR track on top of that. Then you put the Full Throttle Sim Racing League on top of that. You've seen some of the best sim racing that you'll ever see here on the World Wide Web and here live on OLR TV. Great race, and Darrell, it's been a pleasure. Matt Thomas, what a great job you do down in the truck, and just a privilege. It's a great ride, and I'm enjoying every minute of it being here with the OLR TV family.
Well, we certainly enjoy having you with us. Don't forget, fans, you can get this race on DVD right up until about midnight Eastern Time for the $8 pre-order price. After that, the price does go up to $11, $2.99 shipping and handling. Upcoming events here at OLR TV this coming Monday, 9:30 Eastern Time. The Sim Factory DMP Pro Series returns, this time from Iowa Speedway. Then on Tuesday the 3rd, the Butt Kicker Sportsman Series from DMP will have their crack at Iowa. Then coming up on the 10th, that's the following Tuesday at 9:30. Once again, the Butt Kicker Sportsman Series for DMP hits the airwaves, this time from Nashville. Then 1 week after that, on Tuesday the 17th, it's the Royal LePage 160 for the OpenSpeedway.net TNT Truck Series. 9 p.m. Eastern Time to start for that NASCAR 2003 broadcast. That's going to wrap it up. Once again, I is your host, Darrell Morley. Michael Ritchie was the color commentator here tonight, or my broadcast partner. Matt Thomas was the pit road reporter and replay reporter. Your producer and director is Matt Racing Kid Thomas. And we here at OLR TV would like to offer up our special thanks to the great folks at OnlineRacing.com, the people at FullThrottleSimRacing.net, and of course, the creative geniuses over at Papyrus Racing Games. Papyrus will forever be missed in the sim racing community. That's going to do it for my broadcast partner, Michael Ritchie, and for Matt Racing Kid Thomas down there pushing all the buttons and making that magic happen. I am Darryl Morley, thanking you very much for tuning in and reminding you, keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down, and always, always, always keep that hammer down. We'll see you next time right here on OLR TV.